your object going into it isn't to have a premonition that that's the feeling you're going to get. You go in with a kind of a humility and a kind of an innocence, not knowing how it's supposed to sound, not knowing what it's going to come back sounding like. And yeah, so when you go in with that mindset of just being ready for whatever to happen, and then you realize you're really happy with what's coming out of the speakers, it's true. It's really thrilling.
It's a great feeling. It's different than I want it to be this way and like check, I did it. It's different than that. It's when it feels like something bigger is happening than what we can control ourselves.
Yeah.
And I see it happen. I see it happen a lot in your band where something happens where the way everybody feels it, and when everyone leans in the same way together, something big happens.
Right.
And it feels bigger than the individual parts. Not to take anything away from the individual parts.
Yeah.
But the combo does something, and it's very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all really conscious of giving to each other and supporting each other, you know. We see the space between the parts as being the fundamental thing. I don't think anybody is over concerned with their own part, you know, like everybody's trying to find the right relationship between their part and the bass part, or like for me, my part in the bass part, my part in the drum part, my part in the vocal part. Like you're trying to find a relationship to the other things. You're not trying to do your part as if your part exists in one bubble and their part exists in another bubble. So it seems like that mindset definitely contributes to the effect that you're talking about. Yeah, that Californication record really, like when I listen to all our records, it's my favorite one in terms of the band's connection to each other. And it seems like we were really all opening up this door that made us able to do that we hadn't seen was there. And like a lot of people think like that my playing was like less developed then or something, that I got better as it went towards Stadium and Arcadium, and I can see how people think that, but because maybe technically I got better, but I really wanted to play in the way that I was playing then. Like stylistically, I felt like having a tone that was like clean to the point of being like weak sounding. I felt like it made Chad and Flea sound really good, you know, and to play in a way that was simple and kind of feminine, like not so much the macho, you know, guitar god guy, but to play in a way that was, again, just as simple as possible and supportive of everything else. I felt like it made them sound really good, you know, and I don't know, it's something I try not to lose connection with, because I really do love just going off on the guitar and playing in a wild way, but there's definitely something to be said for the way I approached it on that record. I was really inspired. I went into it knowing, okay, I don't sound like Jimi Hendrix right now, you know, like I played guitar on and off for those 4 years, but I didn't have the same kind of muscular ability that I did then. So like my vibrato didn't sound like, I couldn't do that Jimi Hendrix kind of vibrato, but I practiced really hard and I got to the point where I think I could have done it, but I was, by the time we went in the studio, but I was, along the way, I developed this style that I thought was better, that was rooted more in stuff like Joy Division and Bow Wow Wow and The Cure and stuff like this, where I felt the guitar playing is really television, where the guitar playing is really powerful, but it's not particularly muscular. And I felt that I'd hit on something as far as a new way of rounding out the band's chemistry, you know.
In that album, you also started singing harmony in a big way. That's where harmony came into the picture on that album as well.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was 100% you, like because I definitely was not open to the idea initially. Like you really had to talk me into it.
I can remember we were at the Village and we were listening. I was playing you some Simon and Garfunkel stuff just to show, like, look how cool it is when the harmony crosses over. It's like it does there's some whole other level of sophistication to the music when you have this other harmonic thing going on that we didn't have at that time. It's like maybe there's a place for it. And it could have not worked, but it worked. You know, it could have, who knows? I remember there were also many experiments we tried that failed. You know, it's like you never know.
but that was one time where, like, yeah, there was a day when I listened to it and I came back and feeling like, harmonies are lame, but I continued listening to music at home every night when I went home. And then I started realizing that there were harmonies in all kinds of music that I loved that I hadn't even noticed. You would think I'm a singer, I'm a musician, I
listen for it.
I would have noticed, but somehow we hear it as if it's in the lead vocal, and our ear doesn't consciously, it's a backing vocal. So it's doing its job. It's not the focal of attention, and your attention just stays with the lead vocal, and you don't realize that there's this harmony part that's really giving it depth. And the more music I listened to where I was listening for that because you'd been pushing me to do it, I started realizing, geez, all my favorite records have these great harmonies on them, So I started getting excited about it, and at least enough to try it. And I don't think it was till the record was done and Guy Picciotto from Fugazi told me that specifically he loved the harmonies on the record. Yeah. That was when I realized, oh, wow, okay, cool. That was good then,
Yeah.
It seemed just passable when I was doing it. It didn't. I wasn't 100% convinced,
It was really good. I remember it was really good. And it just felt like, again, like another door was open, just of another thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah, it's true. I can't imagine all our records since then if we hadn't done that. Yeah.
I feel like maybe we should stop now and then we're going to do this again, because I feel like it's going to take us a couple of hours to talk about each album, I think, based on how long we've been going.
Right. Okay. You mean like sometime soon? You mean like a year from now?
Whenever you want. We'll do a part 3 whenever you want. But I feel like there's enough for us to talk about where to go in depth, where we just need a lot of time.
Okay, great.
But this was it's a great next chapter from where we were.
Right. Okay.
So let's plan on doing that.
Okay, cool.
Cool,
yeah,
man.
Sounds good.
I love talking to you. And I feel like, again, I know you forever, and I feel like I learn every time we talk about stuff. Blows my mind.
Thanks, man. It's you're the best person to do an interview with. It's really pleasant talking to you.
Cool, man.